we are talking about 79 billion, and yet only 5.7 has been allocated. Definitely this calls for very serious concerns. I'm aware of certain ministries, Chair, where suppliers have now stopped, or they have threatened to stop supply because they are not being paid. And when you look at this fraction of just 5.7 so, I know it will be staggered in terms of payment throughout the year. It will not come there. Are we really not creating a very big problem in the local suppliers? And maybe going forward, the way forward to resolve this, I find it a bit cumbersome, Chair. And for me, as a layman, I want to relate it to what the country has come to sort of discover in terms of mineral resources. Is there really any plan to ensure that these resources that have come our way are quickly maybe managed in a better way to be able to raise more revenue for the country? Because what we are seeing now, which is very, in a way, good, is we are giving our local people these too much more licenses to exploit these resources. But I think the consumption by the state itself, to me, may not be that much. I don't know whether we are trying to get a big conglomerate, institution or mine to mine these resources so that we can build our reserves and have more money. I'm not sure. It's not making really any sense. It's worrying because this debt, if you are paying 5.7, even if we manage from 79, considering that what we are going to accrue in the year, maybe to be 3, 4, 5 times what we are paying. So really, where are we going? Maybe I could get a comment from you people in the committee.
Thank you. You can respond to those, and other members of the committee can advise also. They can come in and help.
Thank you, Chair. Engineer Mabenga, Honorable Engineer Mabenga spoke to the issue of offering solutions in our submission. I think he's right, though we submitted as per the submissions by the stakeholders that we interacted with, and when they say that Ministry of Finance needs to expedite the restructuring process for the remaining 6.0%, I think the Ministry of Finance, they know what they need to do, because that's where we have the experts. So hence the recommendations ending at just advising them to do that. Otherwise, the question and submission by Honorable Mabenga is on point. Coming to Honorable Shaka Fuswa, Chair, he spoke on the recommendation about late disbursement of CDF. I think, Chair, the reason why this issue was highlighted as a problem, it is because it desires to be attended to. So if it didn't come out expressly that the government needs to improve on this, then it may just have been an oversight in the preparation of the report. But indeed, it is something that has to be addressed on the issue of CDF. Number one, late disbursement. If the government can be disbursing money in good time, then CDF can work well. Of course, together with the other recommendations that we made. And thank you very much, Honorable Shakafusa. We have taken note. Honorable General Stwala, he has spoken about the issue of the local debt, also the rate at which we are dismantling it as a country. Yes, we actually had an interaction with the Minister of Finance where we told him that the local suppliers, we have in the government departments where local suppliers have not been paid 4 years, 5 years, others more, and the debt keeps on accumulating. But on this other hand, we keep on providing in the budget annually money to dismantle domestic debt, yet the debt that has been owed years is not getting dismantled. Then we also discussed with the minister the issue of these finance companies losing credibility and confidence in the government, where if a local supplier who has supplied something at the Ministry of Health or at Zambia Army, he goes with the documents to Standard Chartered Bank or any local bank and they want to discount that invoice, they cannot be given because they think that the government takes so long to pay. The Minister of Finance gave us an assurance that the government is committed to dismantle the domestic arrears, but because of fiscal challenges, the government is having challenges to clear all the difficulties to clear all the clients at the moment, because in an event that they say that they clear all the domestic arrears, say for example just this year or next year, then it means that the government will remain with nothing to support spending on social and other economic and social programs. Then on the issue of using taking advantage or harnessing the opportunity that is there in the extractives or in the minerals that we keep on discovering in Zambia on a day-to-day basis, we were given an assurance that that is the reason why the government has financed geological mapping countrywide, so that the first process should be that the government should establish what minerals we have in the country, then after which then it will now start supporting programs such as what it has already started doing to do with artisanal miners, where they have started giving them licenses, and also so that they are when they are given licenses, they should also be taken stock of by the Zambia Revenue Authority, so that when they have a license, they are mining, they are known by ZRA, they should also be paying something. So that's a submission that I can make. Otherwise, your observation is on point, and that I think that's what all of us have been speaking about. But at the same time, there is a concern from the submission that we've been given that while it is important to support artisanal miners and small-scale miners, you find that some of them, they do out of the framework of the law. They want to mine without getting licenses, and also non-compliance with the mining regulations and protocols. So that's why you find that in most of these mining areas where the government has not issued licenses, we have been recording a lot of fatal accidents where we have been losing lives of our brothers and sisters. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Chito, Dr. Chito. Your mic, Honorable Mkosa.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chairperson. Witness, I just want to take you to page 9 and health 2.24. Your report states here that there's been a marginal reduction in the allocation to the health sector compared to 2025. So there's a marginal reduction from 10.7% to 10.3%. Now, the government has made its intention very clear about what they want to do in the health sector. The vision is clearly universal health coverage. Now, in universal health coverage, a critical component is how you finance healthcare. So healthcare financing is extremely important. The government has year in and out massaged the need to reform the National Health Insurance Management Authority as a critical component of healthcare financing. And I see silence. One, even in the face of fiscal consolidation, it is anticipated that social services, critical social services such as health, would be spared. But secondly, we would love to see innovation and would like to see sustainable and resilient ways of raising resources to finance healthcare. An opportunity clearly exists using NIMA. If you look at the numbers from the time NIMA came into being, the amount of resources raised and the impact on the healthcare system has been phenomenal. It is correct to say the most consequential health reform of the recent 5 years, of the recent 10 years, is probably NIMA, healthcare financing. And you can do an analysis of the graphs. Would you like to consider increasing or allocating resources towards the reforms in NIMA as a way of relieving the burden on Treasury, and also ensuring that as you do fiscal consolidation, overally spare critical areas such as health, especially that even from the apex at presidential level, the pronouncement was government's intention to achieve universal health coverage. In his speech, as he gave the State of the Nation address, the President did state that the Minister followed suit. Can we see consistency in terms of healthcare financing? I don't see it in the document. I submit.
Thank you. Would you want to make a comment?
Is this the last one? Maybe there is any other?
Okay. Members, you need to indicate so that I take note. Members.
Yeah, I've indicated online.
Okay. Honorable member, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable members.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, witness. Apologies, Chair, I've come in late, but I just wanted to the review of the debt sustainability. If you look at the provisions in this year's budget, according to the debt dismantling strategy in terms of arrears, I think government, if I remember very well, did borrow about 10.8 billion to clear the fuel arrears, as it were. I think that was coupled with their debt dismantling strategy. But if you look at the provision for 2026 budget, it has deviated in terms of provision, because instead of them providing for 6.7 billion, they've reduced to 4.7 billion. So I don't know from the budget committee perspective what's been the explanation from the Ministry of Finance, as it were, because which means they're deviating from the strategy which they came up with in terms of provision. In an actual sense, they're supposed to have provided now for 2026 a 6.7 billion, but if you look in their provisions, it's about 4.7 billion kwacha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. So, Honorable Mabumba, do you have a question or a comment, knowing that you are a member of this committee, the planning?
Yeah, in fact, Chair, obviously I have to declare that interest that I'm a member of your committee. But I just wanted to take Honorable Karawe, Chair, to the question that General asked. Because when you look at the domestic arrears, they are sitting on 79 billion, and then the allocation maybe is around 5 billion. Maybe, Chair, in my considered view, and depending on how the committee looks at it, I think for me we need to encourage the executive, because when you look at that amount of money, it's very minimal. And I think in the previous, recommendation, there are situations where we have stated, why can't those areas be converted into government bonds? Because if you have got a government bond with Bank of Zambia, it's easier for me to go and borrow money as an SME. So, Chair, I don't know what recommendations contained therein, because I don't have a report with me here. But I think it would be in the considered view of the committee that I think we, even in the context of limited resources, we encourage the executive to explore other options of finding ways of paying that amount. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Mukasa, can you respond to those? Then we'll be closing.
Thank you so much. I will start with the question that was posed by Honorable Dr. Chitalu Chilofya. on the issue of the possibility of increasing the budget for Ministry of Health. Yes, it is possible. Now, it will have to depend on the submission that will be made by the Committee on Health and how this committee will take that submission, whether they will request or not. Then the committee, the expanded budget committee, will make the decision at the end of the day and possibly engaging the Minister of Finance. So the possibility is there. Then on the comment that you wanted me to make on the issue of universal health coverage, I think we will wait for someone from budget committee to come and give a more technical submission on the matter.
The health committee.
Health committee, yeah. On the health committee, so that they come and give us a more technical submission. I may be limited in capacity in commenting on the matter. Honorable Mwambazi, he questioned on the debt of 6.7 billion that is there and which is expected to have been provided for, but instead the budget provided for 4.7 billion, and is asking how we reconcile the two. I think the rationale of the ministry is that should they fail to raise sufficient funds, they can only clear up to 4.7, but as the year progresses, there can be a consideration of incorporating an additional amount during supplementary budget, should it be there. But if they fail to see an avenue where they can generate money, then they will only have to clear up to this amount. Chair, the question by Honorable Mabomba is more of a comment and advice as to what collectively we need to do and advise the government. It is a good suggestion. That's the same thing that we've been talking about even with VAT refund. It's the same thing, because when you have your local suppliers, your local businessmen, local entrepreneurs, they supply you with items, then you don't pay, then we are killing the economy, Chair. We causing liquidity problems for our entrepreneurs. So it is a good suggestion, Honorable Babumba, and Chair, I feel that this is something that we have to work together and advise the government. We try to talk to the Minister of Finance. If we buy into if the Minister of Finance can buy into this suggestion, then it can be good for everyone, including our suppliers who are owed this amount of money by the government. Otherwise, what the Minister of Finance reiterated is that the current fiscal space may not allow to pay everyone in one particular year, because it means that it is going to wipe out all the money that is meant to fund the other sectors. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Mwabazi, follow up?
Yeah, thank you.
Honorable Mukosa, Mike?
Chair, just a last intervention. Thank you, Honorable Mukosa, for the response. I think what we're trying to tell the Minister of Finance is that 6.7 is a provision. Okay, it's a provision, because they had come up, Honorable, with a debt dismantling strategy. Okay, so now the question is, what you had provided, like for the previous, like 2025, from 2024 to 2025, and now this was going to be the last one. What we're saying is, why are they deviating from their strategy? Simple, because it's just a provision to put, and their submission, they were saying, no, we've got debt which is sitting in other places. So the question is, why don't you consolidate? We had to call the director for the debt management office at finance and say, why don't we consolidate? Because we just want to have a picture and a provision in the budget. As and when there's funding, then we know what is the provision and you're within your strategy. Now you are deviating from your strategy. I think that was the main argument to that, which they didn't give us substantial information or back it, because honorable, if you've got debt sitting in all these parastatals and whatever, all that is government debt stock. Can we have a proper provision? Suffice to say that, Chairperson, if you look at our macroeconomic indicators for 2025 and 2026, we're saying domestic borrowing shouldn't be more than 2.3% of the GDP. Now, last year, it was 1.9, and when you come back with a supplementary budget, it jumped to 4%. So now we're saying how are we talking to some of these our indicators, as it were? Because even this year, according to what Honorable Mkosa is explaining, they put that 4.7. They'll come back with a supplementary budget. Then that 2.3 against a DGPS is a yardstick. They are looking at liquidity in the country and what, but then it defeats the purpose of that standard. In my own sense. So that's why I'm trying to say, why don't we have the actual, because it will give us the actual provisions and everything can be matched, as it were. Just a comment. Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, my reaction to that would be maybe we can also keep a tab on that one, you know, that because we are still going to engage with the minister. It's on Thursday next week. So maybe one of the members is a good one, can keep it up. We are aware that maybe the only reason, the only reason why in fact the debt ratio jumped from 1.9 to 4.5%, the one we indicated, was because of this almost completion of the debt restructuring. So the need of trying to plan for the payment came in. It went up, but it's a good one. We can put a tab on that one, so that when the minister comes in, then we can also take a morning on that one. Is that fine, honorable members? Honorable Mkosa, do you want to comment?
Thank you, Chair. To just add on what Honorable Mwambazi has said, that is the reason, Chair, if the committee observed, that's the reason why we are insisting that the government should strictly adhere to the medium-term debt management strategy. What we are planning is what we should execute. Deviations are not desirable. They are there, but they are not desirable because they'll take us off rail. So your comment, your observation and comment, Honorable, is on point, and Chair, like you indicated, this is an issue that we need to come and discuss with our friends from Ministry of Finance when they come to appear before the expanded planning and budgeting committee.
Yeah. Okay, honourable members, we can end here with the Committee on Planning and Budgeting. Thank you very much, Honourable Mkosa and Honourable Smushi, for standing in for the other members of the committee who are again members of this same expanded Planning and Budgeting Committee. So we end here. The next one is Committee on Public Accounts Committee, isn't it? PAC. Are they here? Honourable members, are your people here? Okay. We can call them to come in.